but rather overcast afternoon where we're watching the 7th and penultimate round of the World Sports Car Championship. We're also watching Peugeot repeating its Manicure performance. Both cars out front while we're watching Mercedes in third place carving through the back markers. Manuel Reuter there in the number 11 Kramer Porsche. Reuter, incidentally, the only driver this year to have scored points in every round of the championship. Sharing the car with Thomas Lopez, the Mexican driver who distinguished himself by crashing his car at Le Mans this year and struggling on to get round to the pits and falling off at the next corner, not realising he'd got no wing and no downforce. Reuter's had a very good year, in fact, this year. He's certainly been one of the discoveries of the championship this year. Had some very useful third places of Harry Toivonen. But at this round, Kramer have put the Mexican man who has driven for them in the past in, Thomas Lopez. And there we're watching Jean-Louis Schlesser in the 4th place Mercedes. Schlesser in his white helmet, reigning world champion. Probably thinking today, wouldn't it have been nice if I could have just one win this year? Now Schlesser's moved up a place. I think we just saw Wendlinger in the background there. Yes, he's passed Wendlinger while we've been away, and he's closing on David Brabham. Now, has Schlesser found some more horses, or has Wendlinger got a problem? In fact, he's lost the end plate off his wing. Now look at that. Look at the right-hand side of the car. The end plate's missing from the wing. Now that can't help handling, but he is closing on Brabham, definitely. He's going through like a knife through hot butter, or hot knife through butter. Get my cliches the right way around. Jesus Prayer there, David Brabham, Jean-Louis Schlesser. I don't imagine he had a collision. We certainly haven't seen him near enough anyone to have a collision, but that can't help the handling at all, that end plate missing. And he's climbing all over Brabham. And he's about to take him. Yeah, he makes a pass, he has a go. The Frenchman has definitely got the bit between his teeth here. He's lining up to take Brabham in the Jaguar. Brabham's trying to pass Jesus Prayer in the Porsche. That just proves what grunt these Porsches have at this altitude. Brabham goes the long way round the Peraltada. Very tricky move, that. Schlesser thinks he'll go for the inside. Now, can Schlesser catch that Jaguar on this straight? Down on horsepower, as we said. These Porsches have got this extra grunt with their turbochargers at this rarefied altitude. But no, look, the lighter car, the 750 kilo Mercedes, has the edge on braking. He's now going to charge after Brabham there through the curve. Moises Solana, 6th gear down towards Ritorno, into Ritorno. 2nd gear corner, 3rd gear, back to 2nd, up through the gears again, 3rd, into 4th, heading for the S's. Section of the circuit the drivers really like this, although it is fairly blind, and just rejoining Philippe Alliot in the lead for a minute just to establish he's still there. I hope the producer takes us back to that battle between Brabham and Schlesser. Philippe Alliot in the Peugeot, way ahead now. He's pulled out a long way. It was 2.4 seconds. It's probably nearer 10 seconds now over Keke Rosberg. Last time we saw Rosberg at this circuit a year ago, he blew the engine to bits in front of the pits. But the way the Peugeots are running now in these last 2 or 3 races, doesn't look like any problems at all. Philippe Alliot in the number 5 Peugeot. Is he going to take his 2nd win today? He won at Suzuka at the beginning of the year with Maribaldi. Can he do it again today? He thought he was going to win at Manicure. I think he was convinced he was going to have victory, and there was a problem over the pit stop. Both Peugeots came in together, tripped over each other. This car couldn't reach its refueling hose. There were some big problems there. In fact, Peugeot have revised their team a little bit since then. Andre de Cotans, who was responsible for stopping both cars at the races, has now been given an extra helper, so there's one man stopping each car, so that won't happen again. But very interestingly, Peugeot are so keen to win these races now, and they go to absolutely no expense spared. After winning Manicourt, they went back to their Paris base. They did a lot of testing on shock absorbers. They then went back to Manicourt, and they ran the Manicourt race again as a test. The whole race with both cars, monitored everything. If that's not keen, I don't know what is. 2.5-hour test at racing speeds. Carl Wendlinger there, about to pass the number 17 car of Jesus Prayer. Number 14 car there right behind, Bernd Schneider. Those of you who watch our German Touring Car Championship coverage will have seen Schneider driving just recently for Mercedes. Schneider passing Wendlinger. Now Wendlinger must have a problem. That Porsche just went straight past the US Porsche. Prayer keeping the Brunn Porsche out front, the Repsol Brunn Porsche. But not for long. There goes Schneider straight through. Blue flags there being waved at Prayer as Wendlinger comes by as well. Schneider showing the car with John Winter, pseudonym for this very popular Hamburg driver, whose name is actually Louis Krage, but for many years he kept quiet about his name. Stefan Johansson here, just being passed by David Brabham. We haven't seen much of Theo Fabi and the number 4 Jag yet. In fact, we haven't seen anything of him yet. David Brabham keeping that number 3 car ahead of Jean-Louis Schlesser. He's doing a very good job there, Brabham. Very good indeed. Schlesser's having a look, but he's not getting that close. And in fact, the Jaguar appears to be more nimble in these twisty sections of the circuit. Hardly surprising when you look at that end plate missing from Schlesser's car. This will be interesting. If they don't think it's affecting the handling, when he comes to hand over to Jochen Mass, they won't waste any time. It's a splash and dash for these cars. They dump the fuel in at gravity feed. They won't have time to change a wing if they're in a strong position. And if Schlesser can convince Mass it's not affecting the handling, which at the moment it doesn't appear to be, well, it might be affecting the handling, but it's not affecting their competitiveness. That's quite obvious. David Brabham, 26 years old, British Formula 3 champion. Incidentally, while I mentioned about his Formula 3 championship 2 years ago, let's just have a quick look at today's results from Silverstone, where Rubens Barrichello won the penultimate round of the British Formula 3 championship from pole position. He beat David Coulthard to finish 3rd, which means that the British Formula 3 championship will go down to the wire at Thruxton at the end of October. Very exciting situations now down between Barrichello and Coulthard. And also at Silverstone this afternoon, Will Hoy became the British Touring Car champion. He finished ahead of John McClelland in the Vauxhall to give the Vickley Motorsport BMW the championship. Very impressive, very nice guy, Will Hoy, very well deserved. Long-time sports car racer, turned his hand to touring car racing this year. He's done extremely well. So congratulations to Will Hoy. Bernd Schneider there in the Porsche. The US Porsche. This is one of US special cars with a special chassis. Quite far removed now from the original 962 with its separate rear wing. US racing, do a lot of racing in America in the IMSA Championship. One Daytona, of course. Several times with Bob Wollek. Wendlinger attacking back. Schneider went by him 2 laps ago. Now Wendlinger's coming back again. Now, has Wendlinger had a problem? Why was he dropping back? They don't have to save fuel with these 3.5 litre cars because there's as much fuel as you want in this race. Schneider, of course, has got to drive to the fuel formula. He's only given a certain amount of fuel for the race. Endlinger coming back very strongly now. Although there is where the grunt tells. Although that Porsche weighs 950 kilos against the 750 kilos of the Mercedes, he's got more power on the straight. And this is where the Mercedes can catch up. Much more nimble, the car's lighter. There's no turbo lag. Flat 12 Mercedes against flat 6 Porsche. But the difference is the turbocharger. You can see just how bumpy this circuit is. This has been a main complaint at Mexico for all the Grand Prix years and all the sports car years. It's just such a bumpy circuit. The circuit was actually opened for its first international race in 1962. It was redesigned in 1986, rather than redesigned, it was modernized. The early Grand Prix there, they had terrible crowd control problems, crowds spilling onto the track, and had to hold up the Grand Prix 2 or 3 years running. There's another new car as well. This is the car of Oscar Larari, the Argentine driver. That's the Brun Judd car that we saw very briefly at Manicure. Rosberg just passing him, having a good race. Very attractive looking car, a nice light car running the Judd V8. They're hoping to use the V10 next year. 20 laps gone, 20 laps into the race, and there's the distances. David Brabham 20.5 seconds down on the leader after 20 laps. Second place man here, Keke Rosberg, who won at Manicure with Yannick Dalmas. Manuel Reuter, just ahead of Pascal Fabre there in the Cougar. And there's the Mazda bring up the rear. We haven't seen much of the Mazda. Here's one of these rather interesting shots, and stuck down the curb on the exit from the Peraltada there. Very low level shot. The Mazda there, driven by Belgian journalist Pierre Dieudonné and Yojiro Terada, the Mazda's Japanese #1 driver, about to be gobbled up. The Mazda running their rotary car still. This is last year's 787. It's not the 787B, which won Le Mans this year in the hands of Bertrand Gachot, Johnny Herbert and Volker Weidler, but last year's development car, which they're just using to get everything ready for when they do return. A lot of rumours surrounding Mazda this weekend. Suggestions that Mazda could run a car next year with a Ford engine, a DFR. Mazda have been very quick to deny it, but the rumours have certainly been growing that they want to run a car for a year just to get used to 3.5 litre normally aspirated engines while they're getting their own Mazda engine built. Highly unlikely, says Mazda, because they actually can't see much point in going racing using someone else's engines. But then one can only look at the Jaguars, who are racing with Ford engines, although they are badged as Jaguar engines, the Cosworth V8, the HB. Jesus Pereira, and behind him, Pascal Fabre in the Cougar. These two cars still glued together, having a good race amongst themselves. Keke Rosberg into the 21st lap here in Mexico City. And there behind is the Derek Bell car. Derek Bell and Jean-Pierre Moretti, the Momo car. 10th fastest in qualifying. This could well be Derek Bell's last ever World Sports Car Championship race, because at the end of this year there just won't be the teams around that someone of Bell's talent will really want to drive for. 49 years old now, Derek. He's won Le Mans 5 times. Been world champion, world sports car champion twice. Looking forward to this drive, he said yesterday. Good to get back in the Porsches. And the US team is a team that he's got a lot of respect for. He drove for the Rothmans factory team for many, many years, but in recent years, and particularly at Le Mans, he's driven for Joest, for Reinhold Joest, his great friend, the German Porsche team owner. There's the Conrad car. Stefan Johansson, the Lamborghini. You can hear that wail of the V12 there in the background, coming across the airwaves. Carl Wendlinger in the Mercedes. Kurt Oyser just been past. Kurt Oyser in the Spice there. Now, Kurt Oyser, very interestingly, is going to be driving Indy cars at the end of the year. He's going to contest the final kart IndyCar round at Laguna Seca, driving for the Bettenhausen team in a Penske. One-off deal, but the Dutchman hopes it might become more permanent for next year. Very, very talented driver. We've got a problem there. Into the pits comes Wendlinger. Now, this is much too early for a pit stop, for a routine pit stop. Just as I was talking about Oyser, in he comes into the pits. Now, is this going to be an early splash and dash, or has he got a problem? We saw the car drop back earlier, but he appears to have no problem soon. No, the team are going straight in there. Tyres, fuel. Not a warm day, you can see from the spectators around, the people in the pits there, well jacketed. Not hot and sunny like it was last year until rain came 3/4 of the way through the race. Schumacher in the car, Wendlinger out. They've got a problem, they've got everything back up, they've got a problem, they can't start the car. Yep. Open the doors, filled him in on something, and he's back in the race. There goes Michael Schumacher, the most wanted man in motor racing. Out onto the track. First pit stop we've had, first routine pit stop, and he joins just behind Schlesser, although of course a lap down. Jean-Louis Schlesser still out there in the number 1 car, followed by Michael Schumacher, 22 years old. German Formula 3 champion last year, 1990. Made his Formula 1 debut in Belgium this year, at Spa in the Jordan. Retired on the first lap with clutch problems, but then, amidst a great deal of controversy, changed to Leighton House when he has finished the last 3 races, all in the points. Absolutely fabulous drive at Barcelona, those of you who saw the race. We have a problem. Manuel Reuter there is off into the gravel, and he looks well and truly stuck. Marshall's saying, no, kill it, kill it. See the car's well and truly beached there. Rear wheels are making no impression at all. What a disastrous outing. And remember that Kramer have come here to run this car for their Mexican driver. He hasn't even got in the car.